The troubled teen, who has grown into an award-winning photographer, now mentors other young people through SEPA Gallery. And so the student has become the teacher, and the little girl who had every reason not to succeed did.
Look at where I've come from. Take a look at where I've come from. Take a look at where I've come from. Thoughts of my life, I got a lot on my mind. Not enough time. I go, living day to day.
No, she was amazing. So I'm struggling. She's covered everything, man.
I told you, man, this is one of those, man, where it's like that, and this interview is going to really inspire so many, motivate so many.
I hope so.
And I'm glad that, you accepted it, man. I really am,
Yeah, no doubt.
Some of our students that Sam is going to be working with at Canisius, we have our summer program, and there's a young lady that's part of our program who we watched a movie called Homeless to Harvard yesterday, and not yesterday, Thursday, and the mom in this story dealt with addiction, and the father, wasn't present, and the girl in the story, and it's based on a real story, Liz Murray, she's a speaker now, and she went from foster home to foster home, all that kind of thing, and then she ended up pushing herself and and eventually going to Harvard, and getting a degree from there. And the girl was just so inspired by it because, it almost mirrored her situation to a T, her mother being strung out and things like that. So it's like, when you look at what a lot of the young people are dealing with, especially some of the ones that you might come across, with your classes, how impactful do you feel your story is to them? And do you think it helps them as a motivator?
It's super impactful. And the moment that should I restate the question? I'm sorry.
No, this is the,
just talking.
Okay, all right. It's super impactful. And the moment that I realized me sharing my story will be impactful to other people in general, but especially young people, is the moment that I realized, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because sometimes we go through things and we keep it to ourselves. We think it's just for us. Nah, it's for other people. And then I had to be real. I tell young people, I say it. This is facts. This is what I dealt with, growing up and just hating myself, looking in the mirror. Imagine looking in the mirror and looking just like the very person who you feel didn't love you enough. And it's like, I don't want to look at me. I think I'm ugly. I think I'm useless. I'm worthless. And so me sharing these emotions that I had with young people and them being able to see where I am now, super, super impactful. You know how many young people come up to me after I've spoken or after I performed who are like in tears telling me about how one boy came up to me and was sharing with me, like, I really love my dad, but he just doesn't love me. And I don't know what to do with that. Like, what do you do with that? That hurts, So being able to talk to him and just be real, because I'm not going to tell a kid like, oh, it's going to be okay. I don't know. All I know is what helped me. So I always ask, what do you love to do? As long as that thing is beneficial, because you can love to smoke. Is that beneficial to you though? But what is it that you're drawn to do? So that one particular kid said he liked to write. He liked to listen to rap music. He liked to write. Perfect. Write down how you feel, no matter what's on the paper. So if you sometimes feel like, man, you can't stand the fact that your dad is not in your life, write it down. Write it down. Find you an instrumental. Get it out. The key is to get it out. It's to get the emotion out in a positive way, So man, and then the young girls that come to me, and like I shared, I rarely do it. You know, it took me a while to get to the point to do it, but I began to share my story about how I was taken advantage of in my teens and how that impacted me, and the feeling of guilt and shame and feeling as if it was my fault, but realizing that no, the individual who was much older than me targeted and worked to get me in that circumstance. And I was very naive. But sharing that story and how I felt and how I kept it to myself, a lot of young girls began to share their stories and saying, man, like when you said that, I began to look at my situation different. Like, yeah, you're right. Like I didn't want that, but they made me feel like I did. And they made me feel like I couldn't tell anybody. So you're entrapped. And then you can't even, this really tears down other opportunities of growth and development with other people. You know, you're holding on to this and you feel like you can't tell anyone. So yeah, it's super impactful. So that's my life. Like I've given into this. Like I'm good. I will tell all of the things in order for other people to be healed and to see something within themselves, man. All of the things can be told.
Yeah. So when you're telling the story and if you're teaching on the subject, what are some of those core elements that makes a good story?
Communication, but first and foremost, understanding. You gotta understand, like, I can tell my story many different ways because I have an understanding of many different perspectives of it. You know, understanding your story and understanding how to then communicate it without leaning so far into the heaviness of it. Like it has to be a balance. I can't come on here or go to a school and just like, woe is me, and then give you like this much of good. Like the whole time I'm there just talking about like, I was this and I did this and then this happened, And it's like, no, you have to have balance, but the balance in the story. And I'd say like work within a theme. So typically when I go to teach, one of my presentations is called Power of Words. So I've built my life in certain things that I dealt with, I've built it into a curriculum. And so Power of Words, I talk about how words can be motivating, it can heal, it can uplift, and it can harm. It can help or it can harm. And words plus action equals change. And how words was something that I was told that I couldn't use because it was hard for me to express myself. But then I learned about how to write and I built from that. And then it's my choice to tell certain stories or to share certain things. And, you know, working with youth and telling certain things about myself and things that I've been through and the pain of it, but also the process and how pain has a part in that process towards progress. And so just teaching them that, sharing stories, balance, communicating it. And then I typically go into workshops where, okay, let me teach you how to write creatively. Let's learn about figurative language. Let's learn about perspective, you know, and these different other elements.
Absolutely wonderful. I just wanted to say thank you again for your time. You know, I've known you now for a good while. You know, we worked together on different projects. I remember one of the first projects that we did together. We did dinner poetry jam.
Yeah.
550 on Genesee with the dinner theater. We did She Got Kids together. Yep. And, you know, so it's always been, I always tell people one of the first plays that I really to this day still say is one of my favorite plays was A Little Bit of Paradise. And that was the first time that I even saw you perform. And I didn't even know that you were playing a boy. Like that's how believable you were in that play. And you did such an awesome job. And your poetry is awesome, your music, you know.
Thank you.
Your last album, I played that thing in the car until it's scratched up, you know. But again, it's just, you're a wonderful artist, and I just love the fact that after everything you've been through, not only can you still give God glory for it all, but you're able to inspire everybody. So as we close, I want you to just go ahead and shout out your website and also to your social media. So this will be what we throw on Facebook and Instagram to promote your episode.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, you can find me in multiple different spaces. So when it comes to business, Get Focused Productions, and that's focus spelled FOKUS''D. You can find me on Instagram mostly and Facebook when it comes to Get Focused Productions. And then as far as music is concerned, AI The Anomaly. AI stands for all in, and that's Anomaly, ANOMALY. You can find me on Twitter. My home space is Instagram. That's where most of the things are placed. Facebook and YouTube. So, you know, stay tuned for the exhibit that I'm going to be having with Get Focused Productions, Pineapple Company. And as far as AI The Anomaly is concerned, there's actually a single coming soon. I have a single coming out soon, and then a project that's in the works.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you again, Brother Sam. Thank you again. This has been another great interview. I'll say the last couple words there, Brother Sam.
No, again, we just appreciate the time and really the honesty, the being so transparent, and also the teaching. So we just want to say thank you. And God bless, Godspeed, and we hope, well, not hope, we know that there's going to be more to come, and so we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Phil, for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is your name and where are you from? Hello, my name is Sam Hill. I'm the host of How I Came Up. How I Came Up is a platform for our entrepreneurs and professionals to share their successes and their struggles. And hopefully they'll give us some tips to success. Now let's get to it.